You can't focus like you used to. You start some work and within minutes, you get distracted. Pulling out your phone, opening new tabs, and now you have 17 open tabs, but 0 progress made. You did everything except the task in front of you. Scrolling, refreshing, checking a notification that didn't even happen. And it just feels so sickening. You expect better from yourself. But this isn't your fault. And the solution is to rewire your reward system. Now in this video, I'm going to teach you the exact 3-step framework that saved me from the dopamine trap. So you can beat procrastination, build discipline, build consistency, and focus. So you can finally work towards building the life that you've always dreamt of. Now, first off, if you want to train your dopamine, then put this video on full screen and watch it to the very end. Because the truth is, most people have such fried dopamine receptors that they can't even watch a simple YouTube video without checking something else, without scrolling, without doing something else. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Step number 1, audit the artificial rewards. Now the key here is your brain is overpaid. Now what this actually means, your brain is overpaid. This is a very important concept because it explains how dopamine works. You see, if your dopamine is depleted, it is because you are rewarding yourself without producing anything. You see, effort used to be required for that hit of dopamine. Dopamine is the anticipation. It is what makes you motivated to pursue certain things. And a well-regulated dopamine system actually gets these hits of dopamine from effort, from challenge, from doing the things you have to do, from going for a run, from exercising, from doing the work you know you need to do. That is real dopamine. Those are the things that really allow you to lower your dopamine baseline so you can start enjoying the things that are good for you. But nowadays, your dopamine system is being rewarded for nothing. Rewarding yourself for rewarding yourself. And because reward is so common nowadays, without actual effort, you're inflating your baseline. You see, if your daily stimulation is high, then real life starts to feel flat. The hard work starts to feel boring. The things you have to do, the habits, the reading, the journaling, the exercise, everything just feels boring and stale. And now work shouldn't be boring, right? The good habits, they shouldn't be boring. And focus just feels hard because the contrast is real. Now it's not the 3-hour binge that destroys your focus. It's actually the 20 to 30 micro dopamine hits that you get throughout the day. It's not the 2 hours of a movie you watch late at night when you've done all of your work. That's not what kills focus. What destroys focus is constant context switching. When you always check your phone, when you're always getting these micro dopamine hits from everywhere. When you're doing work and then you check a new tab and you refresh the page and you go somewhere else and you try to do something else. Or when you constantly check your phone randomly throughout the day. So the biggest takeaway here is to control your dopamine, right? Control your inputs, control your outputs, control the reward and the effort, right? If you can control how the reward makes you feel, then you can control the result. You can control how you feel when you do the work, when you have to go for the run, when you have to get the work done. Now think about this, right? It's not about removing dopamine. It's not about doing nothing fun and isolating yourself, you're not going to the mountains and doing nothing. That is not what we want. We want to live a balanced life. So it's not about removing dopamine, it's about replacing fake dopamine with real dopamine. It is about doing things that don't deplete your dopamine system. It is about earning your vices. It is about rewarding yourself for actual effort. And that is what it takes to win, because if you can control how you see the work, how you see the habits and the things that you have to do, and you can make them rewarding themselves instead of the reward having to be some sort of pleasure, that is when you win, because you can do more work than everybody else. You can show up more consistently than everybody else. Think about the biggest guy in the gym. The biggest guy in the gym, he's not the biggest because he hates going to the gym. He's the biggest because he loves going to the gym. And because he loves going to the gym, he's able to show up 7 days a week and enjoy it. The multi-billion-dollar entrepreneur, they're not where they are because they hate work. They're where they are because they love work. They love the work that they do, and hence they're able to show up every single day and put the work in for years. The most successful YouTubers, the most successful people in any field, they are where they are because they've managed to enjoy the work. They've found a way to just get so obsessed with the results, with the process of work, and they just love what they do. And that is how you influence your dopamine system so it starts working for you instead of working against you. Now let's talk about layering stimulation. This is called dopamine layering. Now dopamine layering is something like, eating with a screen in front of you. Like you're watching YouTube and you're eating at the same time. Or something like listening to music while doing something else that is also fun, while eating something, and just doing all these things at once. I mean, nowadays, something like scrolling has become so widespread that I was in the sauna the other day. I was in the sauna and some dude was scrolling in the sauna. And people wonder why they can't focus. People wonder why, focus is so hard and achieving goals is so hard. But then they don't even question the real things. I mean, all the time when I go to the gym, I see people scrolling. I just see people on their phones between sets. They have a 3-hour workout And in that 3-hour workout, they spend an hour on TikTok, on Instagram. And now you ask yourself, like, it is no surprise that the dopamine system, the average dopamine system, is where it is today. To achieve success, you need to rewire your dopamine system. To do one thing at a time, don't try to multitask. Just do one thing, do it right, fully focus, be present, and then move on to the next thing. I mean, even if that's watching a movie, just like focusing on one single movie at a time without doing anything else isn't as bad for your dopamine as scrolling consistently throughout the day. So if you watch my videos, it means that you are in the top 1%. It means that you simply want more out of life and you invest your time and money into your own growth, into becoming the best version of yourself. I mean, let me just make an assumption here. If you're watching videos like these, it means you work harder than everyone else and you just want to succeed no matter what. You are just willing to do whatever it takes to achieve your goals. And because of that, I'm proud of you and I'm rooting for you. Step number 2. Detach dopamine from emotion. Now think about dopamine becoming your regulator. Now what does that mean, right? You're not addicted to stimulation. You're addicted to comfort and you like doing things the same way you always have. And the truth is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Distraction is not boredom, it is avoidance. Most people are in fact scared of just being bored, of just doing nothing. But what if I told you that doing nothing is one of the most productive things you can do? What if I told you that just 10 minutes to 15 minutes every single day where you just sit by yourself with your thoughts is going to change you forever? It is going to make it easier for you to achieve your goals, do the things you have to do, and rewire your dopamine system for success. Now, all you have to do is just do nothing, right? There is no fancy technique. There is no fancy strategy. Just sit by yourself in your room, wherever you want to sit, outside, in nature, and just allow yourself no stimulation. Allow yourself to just sit, relax, and be with your thoughts. Now, this is a practice that really regulates your dopamine system. The goal of dopamine rewiring, of rebuilding your reward system, is to simply lower your dopamine baseline. Because what happens when you lower your dopamine baseline is you start to enjoy real life. You start to enjoy real habits and real work and the things that you have to do. Now, that is the goal, and the best way to get there is simply by doing 10 to 15 minutes of doing nothing. And then when you get back to work, when you get back to the habits, when you get back to real life, just be aware, you have that extra awareness at every moment of every day where you see what you're doing. You are conscious of how you act, the things that you do, and because of that, you're able to pull yourself out of the things that are bad for you. And you're also able to consciously do the habits, do the things, do the routines that are going to help you level up. So from a subconscious level, you don't actually use dopamine for pleasure anymore. You use it to regulate how you feel, and that is a problem. Couple of examples here. When you feel stressed, you scroll, you entertain yourself, you play video games. When you feel bored, you scroll, you do the same things, you avoid your life. When you feel overwhelmed, you scroll. When you feel lonely, you scroll. And you just have all of these emotional triggers like being bored, like feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused, feeling sometimes anxious, nervous, not knowing exactly what you want to do. You feel behind sometimes. And these are all normal emotions, right? These are all things that happen that we're going to experience. But the moment you connect these things to avoidance habits, like scrolling, like playing video games, like everything fake dopamine, then you're just getting yourself stuck in this cycle of being in a dopamine loop. You do the bad habits because you feel bad. And then the bad habits make you feel even worse. So you need to do more of the bad habits. And it's just this vicious cycle of cheap dopamine hit after cheap dopamine hit after cheap dopamine hit. And that is not where you want to be. So a very simple but powerful mindset shift goes along the lines of this. It is about accepting discomfort and understanding that boredom is the key to success. If you can just sit with the feeling of not knowing what you're going to do next, not knowing what's going to happen in your life, not knowing where your life is headed, then you win. If you can just accept and sit with the feelings that you don't like, the uncomfortable feelings like boredom, overwhelm, anxiety, stress, and you can just be there, be with them, and allow them to pass, that is when you win. For a moment, appreciate all of your thoughts and realize that your thoughts don't have to be clear all the time. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be clear about everything in your life. And you don't have to always feel happy or confident or just super certain about what you want to do. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have high days and low days, you're going to have productive days and unproductive days. But it is about how you manage your internal state, how you manage your response to the way that you feel, that changes the habits that you do. And then the habits that you do changes your dopamine system. So just stop trying to be perfect and just let go. For a moment, just let go. Let go of how you feel, let go of what you think should happen, let go of all of your expectations. And that is the key to regaining control over your own mind. So if you're enjoying this so far, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Step number 3, rewire the associations. You need to start seeing your habits in a different way. So most often you start seeing scrolling as something that is fun, scrolling as something that is almost like an escape. You've attached scrolling to reward, but you need to shift this dynamic and attach scrolling to wasting time, to being lazy, to not achieving your goals, to wasting away your life. You need to connect scrolling to messing up your dopamine system and to all of the negative things that are going to stop you from scrolling. If you like the way scrolling makes you feel, then you're probably going to scroll again and again and again. So you just have to ask yourself, how do I change the way scrolling makes me feel? How do I turn scrolling from something that makes me feel good to something that makes me feel bad? And you can do this with any habit. Just take the habit, isolate it, and change the way you see it. Change the way it makes you feel. So chances are you like junk food, right? You enjoy having that sweet thing, having that dessert, and you enjoy it and you continue to do it because it feels good. But as soon as you realize that eating these bad foods, these foods that are bad for your health, they mess up your skin, right? They mess up how you feel, and they're just all in all not good for you. As soon as you make this switch, you are gonna automatically find yourself scrolling less, eating less junk food, wasting your time and procrastinating way less. You're gonna find yourself reading more books, journaling more, exercising, meditating, doing the things that you have to do to get to where you want to be. Now, one secret tip to rewire your dopamine is to do everything all the way. Your dopamine system doesn't get out of balance by watching a movie or by doing the thing that you want to do or by having fun. But it is just because most of the time you're doing half and half. You're doing 50% work and then 50% effort, 50% scrolling, 50% enjoyment, and there's just no real reward. The way to master your dopamine system is to work with 100% focus. Just do the work, don't do anything else, just do the task, just do the habits, do the things that you have to do, and then reward yourself afterwards. Always remember that as long as reward comes after effort and not before, then you're good. So if you work, exercise, train, read, journal, meditate, work again, and then it's 6 p.m. and you allow yourself a movie, or you allow yourself to do something fun, you allow yourself to enjoy yourself, that is fine. That is a reward. It's called a reward system for a reason, because you need to reward yourself for certain things. And that's how you teach your brain what things are good for you and what things are bad for you. So do everything 100%. Don't half work and then half reward yourself and then half watch a movie and then half read a book. Do everything one by one, 100%. Focus on one single task and then move on to the next. You know, play hard and work hard. And another important principle is make progress addictive. I'm talking about everything from tracking streaks to measuring output to tracking your habits, knowing exactly what you're doing throughout the day. You know, celebrate consistency and not just intensity. Keeping wins small, but also frequent, and just allowing the self-improvement journey, allowing all the things that you have to do and the habits and the self-development to become the default. There's a quote that really changed my life. Your level of success never exceeds your level of personal development. Now, the way you master yourself, the way you achieve self-mastery, you develop yourself, you become a better person, the best version of yourself that you can be, is by making progress the default. Now, you can do that by joining a group that wins all the time. And that's where our private community, Discipline OS, comes in. Now, in Discipline OS, you're just surrounded by people who are exactly where you want to be, right? People who have the same vision, the same mindset, the same ambition. People who just want to be successful, no matter what it takes. People who just are willing to do everything, willing to do the habits, follow through with the routines and be consistent, to build discipline, beat procrastination, and get to where they want to be. Now, we all have big goals that we want to achieve, but most people never get there. And that is exactly why having these systems and accountability is the way to go. So by the time I'm recording this video, we have 170 plus members, and so many people have been saying how much their life has changed just by joining a community that inspires you to be your best self. Now, that's Discipline OS. Click the link in the description below. Everything is explained over there. No more procrastinating, no more waiting to make a change. The time is now. And trust me, you'll thank yourself later.